Hey, welcome to CMJ Level Up slash Dice Throwing Program here. I just wanted to follow up on some stuff that is going on around right now. I put out a no 5 and no 9 dice set video yesterday. It was an idea or suggestion brought to me by Dylan from Skill and Luck. And it's getting kind of a little bit of pushback on how I came up with the numbers and how things are showing on the dice set. So if you guys haven't seen the original video, make sure you go back and check it out. It was aired yesterday on March 18th of 2023. And I want to go through and kind of explain things and how I came up with the numbers and everything that's associated with it. First of all, I'm going to show you guys the computer screen that I have here. I went through and I made a program, if you will, of if you put in a dice set, it'll give me all the numbers, all the possible different rolls, at least the way that I figured them out and how it rolls out. Let me get back to the dice here. And I'm going to try to go through and explain to you how I came up with those numbers now. Now, the original intention of the no 5 and no 9 dice set, according to Dylan from Skill and Luck, was that if the dice stay on axis, there is no way that a 9 or a 5 will roll. So let's go through all the on-axis rolls right now, and I'll show you how I came up with the numbers. So obviously we have the 6-6 or 6-2-6-2 dice set. Top numbers are 6-6, so it'd be a 6-6, a 2-2, which is one of the ways to get a hard 4. We have the 1-1 and the 5-5. Okay, so that would be if both dice stay on axis and they stay primary and they both rotate at the same revolutions. Now, the problem with this set, and this is considered a hardware set because all the numbers are the same on all the sides, obviously 6, 2, 1, 5. If you rotate in, you're going to have the 3s, and if you rotate the other way, you're going to have the 4s. Now, with any hardware set, if you have a double pitch, that's where all the 7s are going to come from. One of the questions that I had posted on that video is, okay, you can only roll the 7 6 different ways. How am I coming up with 16 different possibilities? Well, if the dice double pitches, so 1, 2, and it doesn't matter which one it is, we're going to have the 6-1-7, the 2-5-7, the 1-6-7, and the 5-2-7. So that's 4 of the different ways that you can roll the 7 with this dice set. Now I'm going to go down in my program here so I can come up with the other ways that you can come up with the 7. The second 2 or number 6 and 5 and 6 actually for the 7s will show if that right dice implodes and we have a double pitch. And I kind of showed that in my video. So there we have the 2-5-7 or the 5-2-7 there. We also have the 2-5-7, so opposites. So go back to our original dice set here. And I'll explain to you why this is important towards the end of this explanation here. Let me get rid of this mouse because I'm using the wrong mouse here. I have 2 mouses and 2 computers going at the same time right now. The next 2 7s will come if that left dice implodes. And again, we have that double pitch. So this is going to be opposites of that last one. So we have that 2-5-7 and the 5-2. So it is the same numbers, if you will, but we get into it a different way. Now let's go down and let's go. So we did the implode of both dice. We can get 2 7s if you have an explode of both dice now. So let's say that right dice explodes. And again, here's that double pitch, guys. So we have that 5-2, just like we did before, and a 2-5. Now, these are all the same combinations, guys. So that all goes towards those 6 7s, but these are different ways to get into it. And then let's go back to our dice and we'll go through another set of 7s that come up. And that would be if that left dice explodes. And again, we got that darn double pitch. And again, here we go, guys. Here's our 2-5 and our 5-2. So that is the different ways right now. Now, there's another set of ways that we can get a 7. And keep in mind now, and I'm going to go through this hopefully in a little bit, guys, one of the common fallacies or thought processes is we only have 36 combinations of the dice. And when everybody talks about dice sets, they talk about just if they stay on axis. Well, if you throw the dice to the expected numbers, if you will, so we have that random range, if you will, and then remember we got the 6 7s and we got the 5 6 8s and we have the 4 5 and 9s and etc. That's only if it stays on axis, guys. We are not going to be thrown on axis because if you could throw it on axis more than 44.44% of the time, you are doing better than what is expected. You are doing better than what some of the best dice throwers in the world are doing. For example, in my level up program in the morning, I'm on axis only 45.6% of the time. The rest of the time it's off axis. Either one dice goes off axis or we have double pitches, single pitches, all that type of stuff that goes on. But let's continue on with the 7s here. We went through both of the exploding, I believe. The last 7s that come up is going to be if they double implode. That's your 4 3s and your 3 4s. And then if you double explode, you have your 3 4s and your 4 3s again. And then the last ones are going to come in if you have a double explode and a double pitch. Here's your 5 2s again, guys. So hopefully that kind of explains. And then the last one was, we just did the double import, I think. Let's do the double explode. Again, a double pitch. Does not matter which dice explodes, but there's your 5 2s again. So that's how I came up with the 16 7s on this dice set. So go back to that 6 2 6 2 here. And hopefully that kind of explains it a little bit. Okay. Okay, so the question that's coming up in chat right now is that why do we analyze the off-axis possibilities? I consider anything off-axis as random. Am I wrong in that? Yes and no, in my opinion. Now, part of the practice of throwing the dice on a consistent basis, on a daily basis, and trying to get better at throwing is to know what your dice sets do. And this is explained to me by Alfredo, actually, from Texas Craft Shooters. And he said you can have the dice go all the way down the table and stay on axis, rolling at the same time. But when they hit the diamonds, they split apart, and sometimes they will roll apart. And that's where your axis comes in. You have to hit it exactly dead on in order for them to stay on axis. Now, a lot of the dice sets that we choose, the biggest thing that you want to do is you want to try to keep them on axis, obviously. But again, that's only 44.44% of the rolls. A lot of times what's going to happen is one will stay on axis, the other one will be off axis. And that's why we're going through the dice results that I did in the video the way I did it. And I did all my dice set videos the same. So anyway, we just went through all the on axis, the ways we get to 7s. We went on the primary on axis, and I know I'm kind of jumping around here, guys, but let's stay on axis right now. We went through the double pitches where we got all the 7s on our double pitches. Sorry if the dice are off center here. Okay, so that was a double pitch on axis. And then we can also go with the single pitch off axis. Okay, and there's no 7s that come up this way, and there's no 9s that come up this way. So this is single pitch of the right die, and that's a 6 2 8, 1 2 3, the 1 5 6, and the 5 6 mid-mo yo. Okay, we can also do single pitch the opposite way, which is the 5 6, the 5 1, the 1 2, and the 2 6. So that would be all of your on-axis combinations. That's going to cover all the primary on-axis together, the on-axis double pitches, and then the primary single pitch, either forward or backwards. So that's going to give you guys a total of 16 different combinations right there, or possibilities. Good morning, Durcell. So again, this video is in response to the comments that I am getting on the last video that I had gone out. Now, that's all the on-axis stuff. Again, 44.4% of the rolls is expected to stay on axis. All the other dice combinations that you're going to get are off axis throws. Either one die or both of the die are going to be off axis. So let's go right now with the implosion of that right die. Okay, so if we implode only the right die and it stays on axis the rest of the way, we got a 6-4, the 2-2, which is another hard 4, the 1-3, the 5-5. Okay, now let's go input to the right die and we have a double pitch. So this is all the different ways that these dice will show or could present down the table. And again, in a perfect world, they're going to stay on axis. But guys, we don't live in a perfect world here. We have a 1-4-5, the 5-2-7, which is another one of the sevens that I showed you, the 6-3-9, the 2-5-7. Okay, and then we also have the right implosion. And let's go a single pitch away. We have the 2-4-6, we have the 1-2, the 5-3, and a 6-5. And then we got the right implosion and the single pitch towards us. We have the 5-4-9. Now this is where the nines will start showing up, the fives and nines will start showing up, is when we get off axis on the rolls. The 6-2-8, the 2-3-5, and the 1-5-6. Originally, when I had done that first video, it was asked me by Skill and Luck. I am going through all the different combinations there, so that is exactly right. So that is what the results are all about. Because again, who can throw perfect all the time? George can't, I can't, John can't, Alfredo can't. Nobody can do it perfect all the time. Again, if you get anywhere above the 46, 47% mark on axis, according to what Alfredo's is talking to me about, you are doing pretty darn good. In fact, I have my bone tracker results. When I first started, I was like about 70 something on axis, 70% on axis. And Alfredo's like, wait a second here. If you're doing that, you're doing better than the top 1% of the top 1% in the world. And it ended up being that I actually made a mistake when I copied and pasted the cells over in Bone Tracker. So I had made the corrections. I still was above what was expected. I went from that 44 or 70 something down to like 46 or 47% on axis for both dice. So, you know, that way, you know, it is, again, something to consider. Not everything is on axis. Duracell's asking that we still come up with 36 combinations, and we do come up with 36 different combinations. But when you throw the dice, depending on what happens with the dice are going to come up all these different ways. And these are all the possible ways that I could find that these numbers would show up. Again, 36 combinations. Again, like we talk about, the 7 shows 6 times. The 6 and 8 will show 5 times each. The 5 and 9 will show 4 times each. The 4 and 10 will show 3 times each. The 3 and 11 show 2 times each. And the 1 and the 12 shows 1 time each. You are 100% accurate in that. But again, the way I tracked all my dice sets is I want to know what comes up every single time, depending on how those dice roll. And guys, when you're in a casino, you're gonna have two different same color dice. You're gonna have two of the same color dice, so you're not gonna know which one's doing which. But I have found when you go through the different dice sets, the different dice sets will give you different combinations based off of the way that I'm analyzing the dice. You're going to have some that'll give you more sevens. You're going to have some that give you more of all these other numbers. The numbers that I showed in the video for the 6262, the no 5, no 9 dice set, was that the 2 is going to roll and the 12 is going to roll one way each. So obviously, the 1, or if it stays on axis and it keeps on rolling like this, that's the only ways that that 12 and that 2 will show, okay? That hard 4 is going to show a couple different ways. I know that I had set up the hard 4 and hard 10 comes up 7 different ways. And that's by looking at all the different ways that the dice will roll, you know, going forward. Okay. Now, when you look at the percentages that I went through, And as far as I could tell, I had like 90 different combinations that the dice would roll, whatever. And that's the way that my program is set up. That's where I'm coming up with the percentages of the rolls. So if you look at the 17 or the 7 rolls 16 different times, take that divided by 90, that's where I came up with that percentage. I think, and I don't have that percentage offhand right now with me. I think it's somewhere around like 16%, or I forget exactly what was in that video. So that's how I'm coming up with the percentages. Everything's based off of the 90 results that I have found that the dice rolls are doing. So hopefully this, guys, is helping you guys. They're still saying that the double pitch is a double pitch. It is a double pitch. You look at this dice set, and pretty much most of the sevens here are going to come off of that double pitch. One of the dice are double pitching somehow. The only way that the 7 will come up that is not a double pitch, let's go back to the 6262, and there's 4 different ways again, guys, is if we have a double implosion or if we have a double explosion. That's the only way that this dice set will throw a 7, and that's 4 different 7s. The only way that that 7 will come up is if you do the implosion or explosion. So they're still saying that you're going 6 divided by 36 is 16.67. That would be in the 36 possible dice results. You're correct. I had brought up that I had found the 90 different ways that it would or 90 different combinations that would show, even though there's only 36 combinations. I hope this all makes sense to you guys on how I'm doing this. And it looks like it's actually making it a little bit worse here. 6262 is the same as any hardware set. You're correct in the hardware in that there. So um, again, guys, I hope this gives further explanation or further clarification. If it doesn't, I apologize. This is the best way that I can explain it on how I came up with the different results. So I'm going to wait a couple seconds here, see what other chats come up, and see if there's anything else that you guys want me to explain. I know that one of the comments on my last post was that, everything should be analyzed on axis, and I kind of disagree with that because you're not going to always be on axis at the craps table. The dice are going to do whatever they want to do, and my idea is I'm going to try to find a dice set that works best with my roll, no matter what happens with the dice, if you will. So again, guys, I'm trying my best here to explain my rationale, my way of thinking, my way of how the dice will roll. Standard terminology, you are right. But we're trying to push the boundaries here as a community. We're trying to figure out what is what and how things work. Again, you look at strategies. You can have the perfect strategy in the world, and the strategy does not work every single day. It does not work every single time you're at the craps table. Um, by the way, guys, I went to the casino today and I actually ended up down. I am not afraid to admit I lost $350 today. It was a very choppy table. Played dark side, I played light side, I played a little bit of both, a little bit of hybrid. Could not get anything to go. Dylan, that's a good question. That's not for me to answer whether Ed Robinson says the 6262 is a hardware set or not. In my opinion, whether he likes it or not, I don't know. In my opinion, it is a hardware set because you look at this, the hardways are all wrong. They're the same numbers. What's the difference between the 6262 and the 5454? 5454 is going to throw your hardways, your traditional hardways on the table. But my definition of a hardware set is the same numbers all the way around. We got the same numbers all the way around on the dice set. No, they're not the same as the hardwares that are marked on the table, and I get that. I know that with my hardware set that I'm using, the 5454 for my level up program, there's most of the days I don't throw hardways with it. You have to throw the perfect dice in order to get it to land on that hardware and get it paid out. So he calls it a parallel 6, okay? So guys, hopefully this helps explain a little bit of my methodology on how I do that. Look back at my past dice set videos. They're all produced the same. I use the same thing. I know George from CY had questioned one of my first videos, and I did a follow-up video on that, and there was no follow-up from him at all from it. So call me crazy if I'm doing it this way, guys, but I am trying to push the boundaries here. I am trying to open everybody's eyes that not everything is on axis. You talk about random throwing of the dice. Well, guys, and John talks about this also. Throwing that dice perfect down the table can happen. It really can, but it does not happen all the time. So you have to be prepared for all the different results that come out. The 36 combinations of the dice are exactly that. They're going to show up only 36 different ways. But there's different ways to get into those 36 combinations by inputting, exporting, pitching, double pitching, single pitching, staying on axis, all those different things. So again, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of pushback on this. I expect it, guys. This is what helps us grow together as a community. And please feel free. I have an email. It's craftsmasterjourney@yahoo.com. If you do have any further follow-up or you want me to do things to explain better, if I, this, like, again, like I said, this is the best way that I think I can explain it. But if you can find a different way for me to explain it, please, 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 um, understand that, and that I am an open book. My dice throwing journey and my craftsmaster journey, for that matter, is all about transparency. I want to try to make this as transparent as possible because you know what? Not every single one of us are perfect. Not every single one of us have the answer. We're gonna do this hopefully together as a community, and we're gonna learn together as a community. But hey, for now, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And my name is Joe. This is my Craftsmaster dice shooting journey. Let's make it yours as